So MIDI in Ableton Live, it works very similar to like Pro Tools. What you need is you've got this MIDI track here. Now you'll see mine comes up with this NLS channel on it. That's because my default MIDI has this audio thing on it already. So I'm just going to take that off so you can see exactly how it would start up. And with this, all you do to use the instrument and to use MIDI inside of Ableton Live is you just grab an instrument from over on the left-hand side from your browser. So you go over here and let's start with some drums. We're going to go in here. I'm going to grab this 808 here, and I'm just going to drag this onto my MIDI track here, and it's going to put the drums here first. And so now once the drums are here, I can go ahead with my keyboard and I can play the notes. And you can see I don't have a camera on the keyboard today, but I'm just going to keep the keyboard on my lap here. And I can play this thing. I can play that thing just like I would play anything in Pro Tools. That part's not different. The only thing you have to make sure is very similar with Pro Tools is you have to have this record enable button clicked on. If I don't have that on, I can play my keyboard all day. You can hear me clicking on the keys here. Nothing's going to happen. So if you're playing your keyboard and nothing's happening, the first thing to do is check this record enable button right here. This is going to be probably the part where things are not working out for you there. It's probably you don't have that button pressed. Great, Chris, I got you. I'm still waiting for Joseph Barcaldo and Decree Greaves for the attendance here. So I've got this record arm button pressed. I can press it, and now I can play it. Now, one other thing about this is when you're playing drums on here, you'll see over here, down here in the corner, there's this grid here next to your drum pads. So you got all these pads, and when I play a sound, you can see it hits the little play button on that pad, right? If my octave is in the wrong octave, I'm going to be playing notes and nothing. You're not going to hear anything. But if I'm getting signal from my MIDI controller, I can hit this button here. Joseph, I know you did. I know you put your name in already, man. But if you heard me, I didn't have my chat turned on, so I didn't see you put your name in. That's why I'm asking you for you to put your name in again. I'm not coming after you, bro. I know you already did. I just didn't see it. So this here, you can see I'm clicking these things, but you notice how these ones are all like dark and kind of light gray, and like dark and mid gray, and these are light gray. These here that are light gray like this have sounds on the pad. So I need to be clicking around in these sounds here. So if I'm clicking up here, there's nothing here. You can see that the colors are not right. So I need to octave down a couple of octaves, and now I can hear stuff. And that's a big deal with this stuff is a lot of students and a lot of like people, even non-students or whatever, a lot of people, they'll put a drum kit in and they'll hit this the instruments and they'll say, wow, I'm not hearing anything. Why am I not hearing anything? And you're not in the right octave. So you just need to hit that octave down button. You can see how I'm like octave up here. I can hit the octave down button. Even up here, we're not going to hear anything, but if I go down here, I'll start to hear a few things. I need to go down one more octave, and now I can hear all my kicks and snares and stuff. So that's a really important part to remember when you're making music, when you're starting off making music. You've got your drum sounds in there. If you're not on the right octave, you're not going to hear the right sounds. So, all right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play in my drum beat. I'm going to play it in first, and then I'm going to put it in with the pencil tool to show you how that works. So playing it in, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to turn on my metronome here, and I'm going to find the right tempo. So I'm going to turn this down. There we are, Decree. What is up? You were the final one I was waiting for. There you go. Cool. All right. So I turn this tempo down so it's like a more smooth tempo, and I've got this record arm button hit on the track so I can hear my sounds. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this record button with my mouse. This record button right here. And what's going to happen is Ableton Live is going to start recording a clip. Let me go ahead and stop that for a second. It's going to start recording a clip. And it's going to record that clip until I hit the play button on that clip. Okay, this is very different from Pro Tools and Ableton and Logic, and probably FL Studio too. I'm not sure how FL Studio works. I think it works with clips. But with this one here, it's going to record the clip until I hit the play button. And when I hit the play button on the next downbeat, it's going to start playing that clip as a loop. And it's just going to loop that clip until I hit stop. Okay, let me just show you what that means. So I'm going to hit go. I hit my space bar to go. And now when I'm ready, I'm going to hit the record button here. And you're going to see it's going to flash until it hits the next downbeat. Okay, ready? We're going to do it right now. There we go. It's flashing. And now I'm going to play. And I hit the play button. It was a little bit quick that I hit the play button. But I hit the play button and it starts playing. Now you can see this clip has a green play button. The green play button means it's going to play. No hands. I'm not playing anything right now. It's playing the loop that I just recorded. If I want to record more into this track, into this clip that's playing, I can hit this little session record button. And that's going to allow me to record into this clip. So when I hit that button, it turns red. So it turned red, and now I can record. Now, I don't have to hit play or record or anything right now because it's a 2-bar loop, because what I recorded originally. I can't increase the size of the loop just by playing more stuff. It's only going to be that 2-bar loop. If I don't want to record anything, I can just hit this little button here and it goes back to play mode. Pretty cool, right? Okay. So now if I want to quantize this, I can use my command U, and I'll just quantize it automatically. I just click in here somewhere, click, hit command U, and now I just quantized it. I have my quantize set for like a 50% quantize. So it's not gonna it's not quantizing 100% to the groove. I like it set to a 50% quantize, and I just hit quantize a couple times and it brings it closer because I don't want it to be exactly on. I want it to be pretty much on. But it's so close that it feels fine. And that's really what you do. Let's go ahead and do that one more time and just show you how to do it again, okay? So I'm gonna hit my play button, and it goes ahead and it starts playing. It's not recording anything. If I play sounds, it doesn't record anything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just start with my hand clap here, and I'm just gonna record just the hand clap this time, okay? Here we go. Let me get ready here. Here we go. Whoops. Let me get rid of that first one. Cool. Okay, so we've got that hand clap in there. I'm going to put a snare drum in there next. So I'm going to hit this little record session button here. Cool. And now I'm going to record my kick drum on top. Let me just go ahead and quantize that a little bit. Cool. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put my kick in now. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and quantize that again. I'm just going to quantize the kick just by clicking on the note next to the kick drum down here. So if I click on this note here next to this drum or whatever, I can just quantize that one instrument. Now I'm going to put a hi-hat in there. Cool. Now I'm going to find another instrument to put in there. So I'm not sure what instrument I'm going to put yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my session record button here. And I'm just going to click, use that one right there. I'm just going to find the sound that I want to put in. Okay, here we go. Go ahead and quantize that one. Turn off my metronome now, because I've got that. Put that one over here. There we go. Cool. Okay, let's find another sound. I think I'm going to use this sound here. That one. Cool. Cool. Awesome. Great. And that's how I can make a drum beat in here. And you can see it coming in as I do it. Okay. So that's really what you do. You can just play stuff in. So a couple things to remember is that your clip, after you record the initial part, it's going to be that length. Right now, we can see this clip is 2-bar length. Down here in the lower left-hand corner, we can see over here it says my position for the clip is number 1. That's the start line right here where I put that. And I'll show you some about that in a second. But my length is 2 bars. If I want this to be a 1-bar loop, I just click down here where it says 2, and I can just type in 1. I can just drag it up and down or whatever. And now it's just a 1-bar loop. And I can also put in 2 and change the loop. I could change it to a 4-bar loop here, and it's going to actually keep going into the silence over here. Right, now we've just got 2 extra bars of emptiness. So I don't want to do that, obviously, because there's nothing over there. But you can basically create these loops to be as long as you want. Now, if I go over here to this one, let's put another instrument in here. I'm going to put in, let's go to the sounds. Let's grab some mallet sounds. Okay, we'll grab this sound here, and we'll put that in. I just drag it in, and now I can play that sound. See how my little record enable button flips over? If it didn't flip over, I would have to press it. Right, so maybe I can record that in. So I'm going to go ahead and ready, go. Cool, and I hit stop. Now when I hit play, this is going to be a 2-bar loop. It's going to round it over. Marvin Gaye, yeah, nice. Okay. So there it is. And it's looping. Now, if I want this to be, let's say I want this to be a 1-bar loop, and this one is going to be a 2-bar loop, the bars don't have to match up. So I can keep this one here can be 1 bar, this one here can be 2 bars. Or vice versa. This one could be 2 bars, this one could be 1 bar. So let me go ahead and hit play. I'm going to go ahead and play something in. Let me grab this one here. Cool. Nice. And you can see how this one is a 1-bar loop, but this one's a 2-bar loop. And you can see how long the clip is in beats down here. You can see this one's a 4 beat. It's 4 beats. This one's 8 beats. So you just have to do a little bit of math. Okay, that's 1 bar, that's 2 bars, whatever. And you can see how many times it's repeated right here. Now, I don't honestly ever look at this number here on the left. I do look at this number on the right sometimes, and you can see how far through the loop you are with this little circle here. Right, you can see this is going around 1 time for every time this one goes around. Sorry, this one's going around twice for every time this one goes around once. Now, if I want to put some piano in here, I'm going to make another track here. I'm going to get rid of this one just for now. I'm going to grab a piano sound in here. Let's see here. I'll use that one there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and play and record some without really, you know, with no real goal in mind. Okay. Okay, I turn it down. Okay, so I just recorded all that in there. Now, it's kind of long. You can see all the notes I just recorded in there. I don't want all of this, right? So what I'll do is I'll go down and let's just listen to what I just played. Let me get rid of, hold on, let me get rid of the volume change I did. There we go. Okay, I kind of like this stuff over here at the end. Get rid of that note there. Okay, cool. So I like this stuff starting here at bar 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start here. And I'm going to drag these low notes over. I'm going to just grab them and drag the start over. I'm just editing the MIDI here. And I'm going to drag my loop right over here. See this like part right here? Well, this is my loop length. I'm going to drag that over here. I'm just going to move it back so it actually grabs that part there. Hold on, let me just, because I just want those first notes when it loops around. Like that. There we go. So now if I hit play, let me move this one over. Oops, not that far. Okay. There we go. So Satoru is asking if it's natural to feel overwhelmed to see so many MIDI notes. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on your level of music theory and stuff like that. But let me just show you a cool trick that Ableton Live added in version 11, and that's the scale mode over here. Now, I know I'm in the key of C minor because I know theory and I know what I'm playing. You may not know what chord you're in or whatever. But if you decide, okay, look, you know what, I want to play stuff in the key of C minor, I want to play stuff in the key of F or whatever, just click on the scale button over here and you can change this to a minor. You can try different scales out. And what this is going to do is if you do this, it'll highlight the notes in the key. And if you hit the scale button right here, it'll actually lock in just those notes. And we can see here there's this wrong note over here that I played. I'm just going to get rid of that. Click on the scale button again. There we go. So now I can see just the notes that are in that scale. So you can draw your notes in. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. I'm playing stuff in because I know how to play stuff in. Not everybody knows how to play stuff in, so we're going to show you how to draw stuff in as well. Now you can see all these extra notes that I had in the beginning. I don't want those extra notes. I've got everything set up over here, so what I can do is I can right click on this clip and I can go down here to crop clips. And what that's going to do is it's going to cut out all the extra crap that I'm not using in my thing so it's not super messy and there's not a whole lot of extra stuff going on. Really what I recommend, it's so convenient, it's super cool. What I recommend with this stuff is I think programming your notes in is really kind of tough. Even if you're not good at playing a piano or a keyboard, I still think it's easier to kind of just play stuff in and hear it. That's my own personal opinion. Everybody works differently. I've seen YouTube videos of people doing amazing things, just penciling it in. Good for them. Everybody's different. For me, I work better when I'm actually playing it in so I can just kind of mess around. And I have different controllers to play things in different ways, but I find it very easy just to play things in. I think even if you're not really great at playing keyboards, it's still, you can hear things, you can tap things out. So really important thing for that is actually the quantized functionality. So let's just talk about that here when I'm playing stuff. I'm going to go ahead and delete this that I just, actually, you know what? I'm not going to delete that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my scenes. Remember we talked about scenes yesterday, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep these playing. And I'm going to go ahead and record a different piano part in here. You can notice that I didn't play this piano part. If I wanted to, I could play it. If I want to stop this from playing, I can click on the stop button down here. And it's going to stop it playing on the downbeat. Everything happens on the downbeat because I've got this set for one bar right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit record in here. I'm just going to record some more stuff. That's pretty cool. I'm going to hit play. You notice how I stopped it instead of hitting this play button? And the reason why I did that was just because it's easier for me just to stop it than reaching over on my mouse and hitting the play button. I do have a trackball mouse, so my mouse stays in place. And one of the reasons why I've got the trackball mouse is so my mouse stays in place, because I find it much easier to work with the Ableton Live with a trackball mouse than a regular mouse. But if I hit play, you notice that this loop automatically rounded to the nearest bar, and because I stopped it, it automatically just stopped at bar 5, and so it's a 4-bar loop. Cool. All right. I like that chord progression. I think it sounds pretty nice for this one little section right here. What I'm going to do though is it's not really loud enough, and remember we talked about velocities and stuff in Pro Tools. Well, you'll notice down here in the bottom, let me just get rid of that so we can see things better. Down here in the bottom of my screen, there's this little screen down here, and see how it says velocity? This is my velocities, and I can actually mouse over and you see the notes illuminate. And I'm just going to make sure these are all nice and loud. They're all like around the same volume level. I'm going to put them up here on the louder side because it got really soft because I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to be doing here. I'm going to mouse over, I'm just going to grab all those, and you can see I'm just clicking around on the notes. And now let's listen to that. Command U on those to quantize them in a little bit closer. Cool. Make sure they're all the same scale. They actually usually do go in at the same scale eventually. I'm not sure why that wouldn't go into the proper scale. But so I got my C minor scale. Just make sure your clips are all in the same scale. Even this one here, I can put this in C minor. Turn on the scale. C minor. Put on the scale mode there. There we go. Cool. Okay, so great. Now, if I want these to play a little bit differently, I can actually click on these and move them around. So I can go ahead and click on this, and I can move it using my arrow keys, and it'll move like that. I'm just going to put it over here, move these over. If I want to adjust the velocity just by clicking on the note, I can hold down my Command key or the Control key on a Windows machine and drag up and down. So see, if I just hold down on my Command key here, it turns into this little velocity tool, and I can move that up and down. Okay, cool. Let's add like a little bass line into this. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new track. I'm making the new track over here next to my drums because I always like my drums and my bass to be close together. I'm going to pull this screen down, and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go to my bass sounds right here. Let's go down here. Let's see, like there's like a sub bass in here. I'm going to go down to the S's for a sub. Any kind of sub. Ooh, there's a sine. Oh. Use this one here, and it's called Sine Disorder. It's a little bit what instrument is that using? Oh, that's like a Max for Live instrument. Interesting. I don't know what that one is. So this here is like a, it's like a kind of distorty, and you notice how when I hit the key on my keyboard, it's still playing this piano thing over here because this record arm button is on over here. I'm gonna hit it over here. Yeah, right? Cool. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Let's see. Oh, turn the drive down. There we go. There we go. A little bit less distortion. Cool. I'm gonna turn up my attack a little bit. There we go. So it's not so poppy on the beginning. Turn up my release a little bit. Cool. All right. Oh, here, let's grab this one too. Okay, cool. So I got that. So now, and I can look at these. Now, here's a cool thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pencil this in. I'm going to double click on this one here. And it doesn't matter which one I click on here, but I'm going to double click it, and you can see it puts it in C minor, which is great. We want it to be in C minor. Drag this up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Shift and click on my electric piano. Now, when I do that, it automatically puts in my loop. I'm going to change this one here to be a 4-bar loop, just like this piano, because I want it to follow the piano part. So I'm going to go over here to this one and click on this one again and change it to a 4-bar loop. Click on the 1 and hit 4. And then, well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight Satori. I'm not going to try all the notes to see what fits. I'm just going to look at what my bass note is doing here and use that note. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make sure that I'm clicked on my sine wave thing. I'm going to put it in focus mode. Focus mode is going to keep my sine wave, my bass sound clicked. And I'm going to go in here, I'm going to double click on this and drag it to the right. And over here, drag it to the right. I just double click and hold it down, and it puts this bass on that note. So let's go ahead and listen to it. Okay, that's too high up. So what I want to do is I want to take it, I want to make it all go down a couple of octaves. So I highlight everything, Command A to highlight everything. I hold Shift. So my arrow keys, basically, I can move my notes around like this. So I can use my up and down arrow keys to move my notes around. Because I've got focus mode turned on right here, it's not going to mess with my other clip. I can choose the clip I want just by clicking on this up here. So now I can mess with my piano clip. Now I can mess with my bass clip. Let me go ahead and change the name. Bass, piano. There we go. So I can click on my bass or my piano, and you can see it gives it a name here, whatever the name of the clip is. Let me change that here. Piano loop. There we go. Cool. Whoops. I changed that one too. Bass loop. There we go. So now it tells me which clip I'm looking at, but it also shows me the color of the clip, which is nice and it's very handy. So if I want to mess with my bass clip, I just click on this one, and because focus mode is turned on, it's just going to edit my bass notes. So I can click on one or click somewhere in here and just hit Command A. And I can use my arrow keys to move up and down. But if I want to move up and down by 1 octave, I just want to change the octave of this. I just want to put it down lower. Same notes, just lower down. I'm going to hold Shift and hit the down arrow key, and it automatically puts it down by 1 octave. So let's listen to that. That sounds pretty cool. Awesome. Okay, that sounds pretty good. If I put it down another octave, it's probably going to be too low. What I need to do is put this 1 octave, 1 note up an octave. That actually sounds pretty good there. Let me go ahead and put a compressor on this. Really well. Cool. Let's put it down the octave, that last note, and just see what happens. I think it's gonna be too low though. Yeah, I mean, it's really rattly down there. It's nice and low, but it's like so low that a lot of speakers aren't really going to be able to recreate it that well. So I'm going to keep it up here. So we got that now. We got our bass here. And this stuff here sounds like a pre-chorus. It's like a passing section here. It's not really a main section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all these together. I'm going to hold down Option and grab these down here. I'm going to put all these together. I'm just going to move them down here. And I'm going to rename this here. We're going to call this one pre-chorus. And in here, we're going to call this one the verse. I'm just going to hold down Option, drag it down. Let's listen to this part here. Okay, I'm gonna play a bass line in for here. Now this part here is I don't think it's gonna be as hard. Yeah, it's just like basic notes like that, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and hit record. I'm gonna turn on my count in, 1 bar count in here, just real quick. I don't usually turn on the count in, but for this one here, I know what I'm gonna play, and so I'm just gonna hit the count in. When I hit the record button now, it's gonna give me 1 bar of count in. Go ahead and, I mean, these are, I don't need to quantize them, but what I am going to do is I'm going to click legato here, so they all kind of go to the next note. Turn on my scale just so I have it here. Cool. Now you may notice there's this fold button over here. The fold button, if I click it, it's going to fold the clip down to just the notes that I've played. So that's what's going on here. It's just going to be the notes that I've played. And then I can go to my pre-chorus here. And then I could make like a little chorus thing. So we'll go in here. We're gonna grab all these, not the bass, and these two here. I'm just gonna keep this thing going throughout the whole thing. And then this piano over here, I'll just play like a different piano line in. Let's get like another bouncy kind of piano part here. Get my piano up here, and we'll just like, you know. Something like that. Now, I just played that in. Yeah, Carlos. Yeah, it's a nice little hi-fi, right? I just played that in, but I wasn't recording anything. Here's the cool thing is that as long as I had this record enabled, I can go ahead and hit this button right here, and it actually will remember everything I just played. So I can just drag this back over here like this, which is pretty cool. Let me just click on this first one here. Great. Let's call this in the chorus. Cool. And I'll record a little bass line in. This over here, and I'm just gonna move this over, put a couple spaces in here. I hit the legato button. I don't think I should have hit that legato button though, so I'm just gonna put some spaces in here with my bass. There we go, there we go. Cool. Where are we at? 3. Let's put a 2-bar loop there. Some clicks in there. I don't love the clicks. I'm not going to worry about them right now, but So we got this here, so we got our verse. Go over here. Into this little chorus section. You know, and maybe I'm like, you know what, the chorus is actually sounds more like a verse and the verse sounds more like a chorus, so I can just drag these around, rename them, you know, whatever, like that kind of stuff there. So it works out. You know, it's super easy to just kind of move things around, and I've got my sections of song here, and now I can actually record this in to over here. So I'm just going to go ahead. Remember, we talked about this yesterday, how to do this. I'm going to go ahead and hit the stop button here to get it back to 0 or to 1 1. Hit record, and now go in here and hit play. Oh, hold on, I don't want that count in. I hate the count in. So hit play. Like an intro part. It's not really a great chorus. And then go over here. Cool. All right, so I've got that, and now I just recorded this into my part of into this arrangement view over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this orange button here, and this is like called back to arrangement button. And basically what this means is that whatever I've got in here is what's going to play. Now, this is where things get a little bit confusing with Ableton Live, because with Ableton Live, what just happened is that I have all these tracks. These are all MIDI tracks right now. And I just recorded stuff into the arrangement view. It didn't record audio into the arrangement view. What it did is it recorded the clips into the arrangement view. So whatever was playing over here, it just put the clips into this view over here. So you can see this is all still MIDI. It's not audio. It doesn't take up any more memory on your computer. It's just putting the audio clips or the MIDI clips into here. And it does the same thing for audio and MIDI clips. It's just clips. Now, what we can do in here is, let's say at some point I want to change up the piano part. Like, I don't like this piano part. I want to find a different piano part. So what I can do is I can actually loop this section here. Command L to loop. I can loop this section. Let me delete this out of here. And I'm going to get record and enable over here. Go up here. Cool. And I'm going to record it in over here. So I hit play. Now what we're actually playing is from this view here. And this is, like I said, this is confusing here. But I'm going to record it into my session view over here, this piano part. So I'm just going to record some ideas. Start it when the thing loops around here. I've got this over here, and it's like 9 bars over here. Let's start it right here. I'm going to go ahead and just quantize this a little bit. Command U, quantize that up. Go in here. Pull down a few of these so they're not too loud. my velocities down at the bottom. Cool, and I like that. Let's say I like that, and I want to put it in here, over here. So what I can do is I can take this, let's make it shorter here. Let's make it 4 bars, so it'll fit nicely. Yeah, there we go. I can look over here my link to see it's 4 bars. And I'm going to copy this, hit Command C to copy. I'm going to paste it in right over here. Boom. Now, one thing you'll notice is that while I'm playing it from this one over here, notice how this is grayed out. You can't, it's like grayed out here. Well, also what happened was over here on the right hand side, this little thing appeared and it's got this like white line across it. What that means is that this track is playing from my arrangement view. So here's where things get kind of weird, is that you have 2 sections where clips can play from in Ableton Live. They can play from the arrangement view or the session view. And right now, this is the arrangement view, and I've got a lot of stuff playing in the arrangement view. I may have said arrangement view earlier, I meant session view. Everything else is playing from the arrangement view. It's like a song, like in Pro Tools or Logic or something. This one here is playing from the session view here. So because it's playing from the session view, this arrangement view is grayed out. It's no longer working. So when that happens, a little button appears over here on the right hand side, and the little orange button appears up here. This orange button is called your back to arrangement button. If I click on it, it says back to arrangement right there, and it's my back to arrangement button. And what that means, I'm gonna close my groove pool, it means that it's playing from the session view, or it's not playing the arrangement view. So if I click this, it'll play the arrangement view. But in the arrangement view right now, there's no piano part in this first section. It's just not there. We don't have anything. I deleted it. So what I can do is I can now copy this from here, Command C, and I can paste it in. I click on the track and I paste it in right here. So that's what's going on now. It's playing from here, but if I delete this, I could also hit play over here, and it would play from here. But once it plays from here, guess what's gonna happen? If I flip back, it's grayed out. It's no longer playing from here. So if I start the song over here somewhere, it's still playing what's on this view over here. Okay, and that's where things are confusing. This is where people kind of get lost. They're like, wait, hold on a second. I thought I was with you, but now I'm not really with you because I don't understand this whole 2 areas thing. It does take some time to get your head wrapped around because it's very different. This is where things completely split from Logic and Pro Tools. Logic now does have a clips thing where it's kind of like trying to be like this. Of course they are, because their Logic is pretty much just copying everything that Ableton Live does. But Pro Tools absolutely doesn't have anything like this. And the way that Logic works is kind of similar. I think it's a little bit different. I'm not really sure. I played with it like one time and I was like, okay, I'm just going to still use Ableton Live. But it's like you can use this area over here as like a scratch pad for getting ideas while you're playing stuff from this area over here. So if you ever want to go back to what's actually written on the screen here, you can just hit the button. If you have individual tracks, you can just hit the individual track button, or you can hit the orange button for all the tracks. So now in the beginning part, it's not going to play anything on that piano part. I would have to copy and paste it back in there. Copy and paste back in there. Okay, so here's the tricky part about this though, and one more thing to say about this before I move on, is that with MIDI clips, when I have a clip and if I change the clip, it doesn't change the clip in both places. So if I go over here and I put everything up an octave, so now this one sounds like this. I go back over here and I play this one, it's still down the octave. I haven't changed the clip here just because I changed the clip here. These clips are not connected. You actually have to copy and paste. They're two different clips. So I think that's different from FL Studio. As far as I understand FL Studio, you work with clips, but when you change the clip, it changes the clip everywhere in the track. I think that's how that works. I'm not sure because I don't use FL Studio. But in Ableton Live, the clips are not connected. They can even have the same name. They're not connected. So you're working with your clips down here. You're not working on the full timeline unless you have all the clips highlighted. But you're not working on everything. Oh, you have to make it unique? Okay, cool. And so I can actually work on the whole timeline if I want to. Like I can go down here and it looks very much like Logic or Pro Tools or something. I can see everything down here. I don't usually work like that. I usually work in individual clips. So I'll just click on the one clip so I can focus in on that section of the song, which I actually prefer. But that's just mostly because I'm used to it. Now when I go back and I try to like write songs in Pro Tools or Logic, it's not confusing. I'm just like, oh, this is so antique right now because I'm so used to working in like clips and stuff. But if I do want to work on a whole section, what I can do is I can just join these together into one long clip, or I can just highlight all the clips and I can work on everything all at once. And when that's good for like piano stuff, when I'm making like orchestral things that are more through composed that aren't as loop based, then I'll work with the whole clip or the whole timeline more than I'll just do like this. I'll just kind of like join everything together. So in here, you have a couple of different ways to work, but you can also just work as as a loop. And check this out here. Let me just show you something here. I've got these different sections of my drums, and the drums is a 4-bar loop. I've got a 2-bar loop rather. So if I wanted to make this last part unique right here with my drums, like let's say I want to put a little snare da, 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 like in the end here, what I can do is I can separate out this last measure here. With Ableton Live, once you separate the clip, once you split the clip, that becomes its own unique clip. So if I were to go in here and change these drums, let's go ahead and put in here, let's put in 16th notes on my hi-hats. I'm gonna make the hi-hats be 16th notes. So I'm gonna turn on my draw mode. I'm just gonna draw in 16th notes. Whoops, hold on a second. Let's hold down the Option key to lock that into place. So now you can see this whole section right here is all 16th notes. And if I drag this loop like this, watch, if I extend this loop over, it's all 16th notes all the way across because it's all just the one loop. And if I make changes to this loop, this hi-hat, right, if I just go through and make these changes, let me just highlight these, you're gonna hear that hi-hat change for the whole entire song because the loop, see how that's got some vibe now on that hi-hat, okay? But it's going throughout the whole entire song because I just dragged the loop over. I just extended the loop. See, I can just grab the end of it and it just extends that loop across. And I can just keep that loop going for hours, whatever, whatever I want to do, okay? But let's say, I like this 16th note hi-hat, let's say, but now I want to make this, I want to put a little snare drum thing on the end here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight this one and hit Command E to separate this loop out. Now what's happened is that these are all separate clips now. So if I change this first part here to 8th notes, like this, oh, hold on. Holding down Shift to select individual hi-hat hits. Pull that up, and now these are all eighth notes. 16th notes will start right here, and they'll keep going into here, right? If I want the eighth notes to continue, I can just extend the length of this loop right here. So now this will be eighth notes as well. Right? Now let's say I want to put like a little snare drum thing at the end. I'm going to separate this last one out, so any changes that I make to this are not going to affect everything else. I'm going to draw in some snare drums. Boop, boop, nope, boop, boop. Cool. And if I wanted to add some more snare drums in here, stop. Snare drums in here. It's not going to add them into this first part because this is now a separate loop. And so you really got to think about how these things operate. Okay, those are a little bit soft. Let me make them a little bit louder. Just turn them up here. I'm going to hit play so I can hear it. And let's say I don't want that to be like that. I want to go back to my hi-hat eighth note, so I'll just delete that one. I just separated it. Let me do it slower. I just clicked here, I separated it. Do it slower. I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste this one over here and just extend the loop over. So now it's going to be my eighth notes. Put one right there. So now I got that little. Cool. If I don't want it to be the same every time, I can just hit this duplicate button here. It duplicates the loop. It makes it longer up here as well, because everything I'm doing to this is affecting what's going on up here. And let's get rid of this one here. Don't need that guy. Cool. Cool. You can see on this one here, I actually just hit 0. 0 just mutes that note. So I can hit the 0 to unmute it or mute it. That's like if I want to keep it there, but I don't want to hear it, I can just mute it with the 0 key. All right, so that kind of helps you understand a little bit about how these clips work in here. It's a little bit hard to wrap your head around at first, but it does get easier as you go. So my recommendation is just to kind of get in there and work with it and do it. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go ahead and build a drum clip from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and loop this first part here. Command L to loop it, or you can just click on it and turn on the loop up there. And I'm going to loop the first part. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop the drums from playing. And I'm going to build a loop up from scratch here. So I'm going to go ahead and double click in an empty clip slot. And that's just going to create a 1-bar loop. Let's make it a 2-bar loop right off the bat. I'm going to click on the length here, hit 2, and double click in here. And now I don't need the scale to be turned on. It's still trying to do my scale. I'm going to turn the scale off. So I've just got my drum notes here. And I'm going to go ahead and put in some notes here. I'm just going to click with my pencil tool, keep it in 16th notes. What I'm going to do is as soon as I click, what happens when you're adding notes in with your pencil tool is the last velocity you put in is going to be your velocity for the next notes. So I'm just raising my velocity up to 127, and that's going to just make all my notes 127 here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and start by putting in a snare and a clap on the 2 and the 4, because that's just pretty standard stuff. And put a clap here at the end, and let's put in some ghosty snares right there like that. Put in some ghosty snares there, and let's put in a hi-hat. Put an 8th notes hi-hat. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this one and this one. I'm going to have this here. Oh, let's do a 16th note hi-hat here, like that. And I'm just going to copy and paste these. I'm going to hit duplicate. So what I do is I highlight these, and I can duplicate them over like that. Now let me just show you something about how the duplicate works in Ableton Live, because it's a little bit weird. See this blue line across the top? This blue line is the length that I'm going to duplicate in here. So if I have these notes highlighted, and I make sure my blue line is across the 4 sections here, the 4 16th notes, and I hit Command D. Oh yeah, you got to use the ghosty snares. Yep, the ghosty snares are the magic. It's just going to duplicate these parts here. But let's say I wanted to duplicate. These here, but I want some space after them. So as long as I click and drag this way, now when I hit Command D, it's going to duplicate by this length here. So it's going to duplicate the ones that are highlighted plus this space. See that? Okay, so that's how the duplicate works in Ableton Live. It's a little bit different from other programs. Now I'm used to Ableton Live, so every time I use another program, I'm always lost for a second. So let's listen to this. Cool, let's put a kick drum in. I'm gonna solve this out. Cool. Cool. All right. And let's click on one of these variations here. Cool. Little character there. Cool. So let's say I like this one here. Let's just call this one 808 loop 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this one over and stick it on here. Now, here's a cool thing that's in Live 11 that's not been in Live up to this point. This is really, really neat, and I think I can get this working. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to right-click on the name of the track here. And I'm going to go down here. I'm going to say, Show Take Lanes. So I show the take lanes here. And now it gives me the lane that's got my current drums on it, but I can put it into this lane right here. I'm going to copy and paste what I just made into this lane. This is the one I just made. And I'm going to drag it over like this. I'm going to click on it and hit enter, and it's going to go up top. And now, check this out. Cool. Okay, so what's cool about this is I've got both of these things going on down here, and I can actually click on this and put this up top by just highlighting and hitting enter, and it will put it up top. I've still got this second loop here, and now I can actually go back and forth right here in my arrangement view between these two drum parts. This is super cool. This is actually how I used to work in Pro Tools a lot, and I've been waiting for years for Ableton Live to implement this, and I gotta say, I really like the way they implemented it. And I can try out the other one here by clicking on this little key right here, this little thing. I can try this one out. Cool. Nice. Okay, the only only thing is that sound is a little bit on the loud side, this clave. Turn that down. There we go. Oh wait, how come you didn't turn down for everybody? Everybody. Oh, you did. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, it's just a little clave thing. Cool. But it's just super loud because of this effect that I put on the drums. Cool. And what I could say is you know what? Most of the time, I actually like this one here. Let's put that one up top. Then let's go over here and put this part up top. So I just highlight it and put it up top, and now click on that. So now we've got the one on the one section, the other on the other section here. We can listen to this. Other rhythm. Cool. Awesome. It sounds cool. It sounds good. The bass and the kick drum are totally on top of each other, which we can handle with a little. Here, let me just show you how you can handle that real quick, and we'll talk about this more. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a sidechain compression here. I'm just going to go into my audio effects, go into my dynamics, grab the compressor, put that on the end over here. Click on this little button here to open up the sidechain section. And I'm going to grab the sidechain from the core kit, but I just want it to be on the low frequencies. So I'm just going to have it be on my low frequencies down here. And now, put this into this one here. And if you really want to hear it, we can, like that. You can kind of put this, like mess with these here. And you can hear that's like really popping it a lot. We don't really need to pop that much. And you can hear how much we can hear that kick drum more now. We can hear really that kick drum comes through a lot better now. Right. So, and you'd adjust that to taste. Actually, what I would really do is I'd put another kick on top of that one layer, like a more of a like an attack type of thing. And I wouldn't really have this 808 with this bass line, because this bass line is like already a very subby kind of bass, and the 808's also like a longer 808. So in reality, what I would do is I would actually get that 808 kick drum, and I would turn the decay way down here, like this. There we go, more like that. Now, and I go to my hand clap, turn that hand clap down. Turn the snare drum down a little bit. And the hi-hat probably. Yeah, there we go. Something like that. Mess with that mix a little bit. We'll be talking about all this stuff here next week. We're going to get into the drum racks and stuff next week and how that works. But you can see, you can just open up this little thing over here, and then it opens up your volume levels of all your different drum instruments. The other way you can do it is just click on this little arrow here, and it pulls up a little mixer for all your instruments, and you can just adjust things there. Depending on where you are in the song, I would do one way or the other. All right, so we've got these sounds. I think we've got a good overview. Let's take a break. Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock. Let's take a break and come back in 10 minutes. So let's take a break until 11:05 and be back in here, and we'll continue on our journey. We'll talk about audio. All right, cool.